it considered indecent exposure if you are standing completely nude in the doorway of your own home? Well, it turns out that there's one man in North Carolina that's been doing this for over 10 years, and his neighbors are tired of it. So they've been reporting him to the police over and over and over again. And the results of this report is actually kind of surprising. So one person says, I was rolling the trash can on Friday and I just happened to look over and there he was standing there buck naked. One other person says, because my daughter grew up in this neighborhood, even this week when she went home from spring break, she would call me at work and say, Mom, I'm getting ready to go outside, but let me check if he's out there first. That's how bad it is in the neighborhood. So this is like an ongoing issue. They reported to the cops, and surprisingly, it doesn't matter. Since he is in private property, it doesn't matter whether or not the public can see him nude. They can't press charges against this man. Now, I should note that the law differs based on the jurisdiction you're in, okay? So there was a case back in 2009 where a Virginia man was charged and convicted of indecent exposure because he liked to walk around naked right in front of his picture window. So it really depends on where you are, but it's really fascinating because this guy's just like, yep, here's my dick. And they can't do anything about it.
In that picture, they really did him a solid by digitizing that far down. Okay, I'm pretty sure they could have cut it off earlier.
That's really
Anyways,
funny.
okay, now, so it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
If you're inside your house and some perv is looking at, through your windows into your house, and I remember that story we covered, no, you're not guilty. He's guilty or she's guilty of being a perv and looking inside your house. No, you can be naked all you want inside your house. I think that's clear. As long as the door is closed, etc. I mean, if you're putting your balls up against the window, then we might have a similar issue, right? So in that case, I was like, not guilty. In this case, well, it's a little different, right? I mean, if you're on private property, now he happens to be in his doorway, his lawn is also private property,
Yes.
right? So what if the kids are walking to the school bus and he comes almost all the way up to the sidewalk, and he's buck naked, and he's swinging that thing around.
The kids see his dick.
Yeah, that's what happens.
That's what happens.
All right. So now, if you're the parents in the neighborhood, you could be a little aggrieved by that.
I would be aggrieved by it, so I can understand the perspective of the neighbors. And look, if he was inside his house and the curtains were open and people would see him naked because they would look into his home, then I'd give him a pass, right? But in this case, I mean, I feel like he feels emboldened by the fact that they've been complaining about it and nothing's been done. And so he's almost just trying to rub them the wrong way and just stand, in the doorway and just kind of get on their nerves. Look, it really depends on what you consider the public and private domain. And in this case, it's a public domain. Even if he's on private property, I don't think it matters. If you are on your private property, but you are nude in the public, meaning that other people who are not inside your home can see you naked, well, then you're not, protected by privacy.
So, yeah, look, again, every state will play it differently. If I'm in North Carolina, would I want to change the laws a little bit and say what Anna's basically saying, which is that if people can clearly and reasonably see you, even if you're on your own private property, right, then you have some responsibility to not do things that are obscene or, and it depends on how you define obscene. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to go too far because I'm really afraid that then we're going to get into people's sex lives, etc. But if you can do anything you want on your private property and right next to the sidewalk is still your grass and your private property, can you get out there and do all sorts of sex acts, German sex acts, in front of the kids walking to the school bus? I mean, I might want to pass a law saying, hey, bounds of reason.
I like how specific you are. German sex acts, right? Regular sex acts, maybe we'll give them a pass, but German sex acts, we can't have the fisting.
The kids are walking by and they're screaming, "Schlupen das ist Vitamin!" I can't have it. I know that he's trying to get a rise out of his neighbors. Okay. But one way to deal with it is, even if it's perfectly legal what he's doing, is that you can say, hey, you know what, there could be zoning issues, or the community can say, hey, this is not what we want in the community, and start to assess fines.
Right.
So, for example, if your lawn is out of control, they'll fine you for that,
yes,
right?
They will.
So, if your bush is out of control, they could probably fine you for that too.
We're children.